Hello, hello, it is Creature, and today I'm going to be coming at you with a review over XCOM Chimera Squad. Oh, wait, what's happening? It looks like I got some new art for the channel. Shout out to my man Cause for hooking me up with some artwork. I greatly appreciate it, and let me know what you guys think about these new little faces I got. I'm really happy to have them, and I think they came out pretty good. So anyway, let's get right into the review of XCOM Chimera Squad. So I'm just going to say this right out of the gate. If you're expecting another XCOM game, you're going to be sorely disappointed. This is just XCOM Lite. A lot of the more complex tactical things of XCOM has definitely been toned down a lot. For instance, you no longer have to operate on a large tactical map. And for instance, in XCOM 2, where you'd be in cover and you could ambush a patrol squad or anything like that, instead, you're playing as a SWAT team essentially, where you breach into buildings. And whenever you breach into a room, you have a 100% hit chance for anybody who's breaching. And then once you clear out all the enemies in the room, you then go and breach into the next room. So instead of having pods of enemies rolling around the map, you have the pods of enemies inside of a small room, and all of the combat takes place inside of these rooms. So instead of having a wide open map that you can kind of tactically operate in and strategically position your units, you essentially just go through the front door and unload with short-ranged weaponry, and you just then move to the next room. There is no wide open spaces to operate in. It's really annoying, and whenever you move into the next room, any character that's taken damage will then be given a little bit of health back. It really takes away from any of the difficulty of the game whenever you can just kind of send your shotgun units right on in, not really have to worry about any of the damage that they're going to take, especially whenever you take into consideration that if they do go down, they can simply be stabilized, because as far as I've seen, none of them have outright died upon their health dropping to zero. And if they do drop down to zero health, the next day they will be at full health and ready to go. They might get a thing called a scar, which gives them a slight debuff. It's nothing really too consequential. For instance, they might get less chance for crit hits, but it just really takes away from a lot of the difficulty of the game. Everything just seems to be very much babied down, and I think that's really reflected in the $10 price range. This kind of XCOM game seems like it would be much better on like a mobile setting, but then again, they couldn't justify the $10 price range on a mobile setting, so we're left with this.
2 minutes out.
Hey, Godmother. Is this like the old days? XCOM swooping in and taking it to the bad guys?
I wouldn't know. I spent most of the war training resistance networks.
Like mine. And for your many, long years of service.
Watch it.
XCOM attaches you to an untested squad and pushes it into the field before it's ready. How is this not like the old days?
I'm just happy to be here. I missed out during the war. Wish I could have pulled my weight.
For which side, exactly?
I find that very hurtful.
Sure thing, Advent.
We are through the checkpoint.
I was never actually Advent.
But they were fitting you for a blocky helmet.
Stow it, both of you. We're here. 3-1 PD gave us the all clear. Grab your gear and prepare to move in.
The story of this game is unthought out at best and completely pandering at worst. It takes place 5 years after XCOM has liberated the planet from Advent, and apparently all the humans and the aliens and the human-alien hybrids are all living together in peace and harmony. Get this is 5 years after humanity was almost destroyed and put to the brink of extinction due to the alien invasion, and it only just makes sense that 5 years after the aliens completely wiped out the human race that we're all living kumbaya together.
Our water purification
Massive signal coming from the Advent Network Tower. It's global. Sir, I think you want to see this. Fellow citizens, for 20 years, the Advent Coalition has worked tirelessly to repair the ravages and injustices of the old world. Under our stewardship, our cities prosper, our people flourish, and our world heals. And yet, among us, there are still those who would refuse to acknowledge the truth, who are determined to see all that we have achieved.
Multiple radar contacts on approach to Haven Alpha 7.
That must end.
Even as I speak to you today,
You've got incoming on approach.
Your
signal's breaking up.
Outlying territories to end this scourge once and for all.
They're right on top of you.
Losing you, Avenger.
Raise them again.
We will ensure your continued safety and well-being throughout this crisis.
Get your people out of there!
With your cooperation, we will overcome these radical elements and usher in another 20 years of peace and prosperity.
They don't stand a chance.
I wouldn't know. I spent most of the war training resistance networks.
And also, the aliens look nothing like they did in XCOM 2, which then again happened only 5 years before this. So why have the sectoids gone from looking like this abomination in the eyes of God to looking like this? And also, specifically, the very first alien that you autopsy, which is the Advent Trooper.
Knowing that my past surgical experience is limited, I am sure the crew appreciates that I hone my skills on fallen Advent forces before triaging our own wounded. To the uninitiated, the common Advent Trooper is seemingly human. The aliens have disguised its most glaring divergence from the human form with a carefully designed helmet.
That glaring discrepancy that Tygan was talking about was two giant eyes on the side of its head. So how in the hell does it go from looking like this to looking like this, which it looks like some sort of like knockoff Klingon bullshit. Like, what the fuck were they even thinking? And there's so many discrepancies in between a lot of the other alien races and alien hybrids that I'm just not going to even get into. And also chrysalids. Chrysalids are now just wandering around too. You know those demonic zombie creature things that just kind of popped out of the ground and were used as a shock trooper unit to wipe out entire cities? Yeah, no, that thing is now just a common occurrence. You don't think anybody would have any hostilities towards any of the aliens after they were part of the resistance units and mutons and sectoids and Advent troopers came dropping into their village, killing all of their friends and their family. You think nobody would have any sort of resentment from the war?
I wouldn't know. I spent most of the war training resistance networks.
It makes no sense. So, yeah, the story makes absolutely no fucking sense from any perspective. And it should also be noted that 90% of the stuff that the Chimera Squad does seems highly fucking illegal or immoral at best. For instance, you can have some of your people go and do side jobs while you do like kind of the main breach and clear missions. And I'm pretty sure one of these, if I'm remembering correctly, was like bribing and whining and dining politicians so you can get more money. Like, that's highly immoral and it seems kind of illegal. And then there's also the case where if they hear about any rumor about anything that anybody could be doing illegally, they hop into the ATV and then, or sorry, the APV, and then drive to that person's house, kick in the door, don't even ask questions, breach it with C4, come through the windows and the sewer grates and just start murdering everybody in there? Are these really the good guys? There will be like slightly political dissident factions who you can then research. For instance, one of them is a psionic cult that is pretty much between sectoids and Advent troopers, so they don't like humans. Okay, fair enough. But that also doesn't give you carte blanche to just go in there and slaughter all of them simply because they don't like humans. Likewise, there's a faction who is literally just a bunch of scrappers who go to a bunch of the old Advent wrecks and whatnot, and kind of just sieve through things, and they find Advent weaponry and whatnot. And one of the missions is you go in because it turns out they have an Illyrium crystal. Now, if you know what Illyrium is, you would probably know that literally everything in XCOM 2 had Illyrium in it, so it only makes sense that Scrappers found Illyrium, but it doesn't matter because you're Chimera Squad, you're the good guys, they could use that for evil, so we're gonna kick in the door and breach and clear a fucking ramen shop and slaughter everybody in the name of security. Personally speaking, I don't think Chimera Squad is the good guys. They much more seem to be the bad guys in this. I mean, this is literally a overextending police state in City 31. I don't know if this is what XCOM had in mind when they liberated the humans. That, okay, we're gonna liberate you from Advent, but now you're gonna be under our boots.
Thank you. Thank you.
XCOM
Has freed us.
Oh, I wouldn't say free. More like under new management.
Alright, this is starting to shape up to being one of my longest quick reviews, so I'm just gonna give you the final score of XCOM Chimera Squad up front. It is a 2 out of 10. It is pretty bad. The story is shit. The combat is not good at all. It gets a 2 because it's a functioning game, which has a story, albeit a shit story. The voice acting is absolutely atrocious. The gameplay is absolutely atrocious. It's XCOM watered down, and for that I can't forgive that. I'm a pretty big XCOM fan. It's one of the games that I grew up on, but yeah, I can't forgive what they've done to my baby. I mean, look how they've massacred my boy. It's $10 on Steam if you want to get it. I'm probably going to be returning it after I get done recording this audio. So yeah, thanks for watching. Pay attention. I'm gonna be making some Bannerlord coming down the pipe here in a bit. Just got done with finals, so you should start be seeing more content from me. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate you all here. See you on the next one.